Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and this is my top 10 worst WrestleMania endings ever. We've had 33 of these, and yes, some of them are going to make some appearances that maybe might be considered controversial. But this is my list. If you want to, make a list that's not controversial, then you can be that way. But make your own videos and have some fun. If you're a wrestling YouTuber and you don't slander others, let's have some fun and everything. Enjoy ourselves and enjoy presenting our opinions and everything. That's why I do these videos. I don't do them for profit. I do them just for fun. I used to monetize my videos. Now I'm not going to anymore. Because you guys deserve the best content without ads. If YouTube wants to put ads in, that's up to them. Anyway, the show of shows, the granddaddy of them all, even though Starrcade would be considered the granddaddy of them all. Starrcade got on pay-per-view first, as far as WrestleManias went. And Starrcade was also closed-circuited 2 events before WrestleMania even happened. I just want to say that. And I reviewed both Starrcade and WrestleMania in a worst to best ranking that you guys can check out on respective playlists, or ask me and I will tell you what playlist is on. But for WrestleMania, the show of shows, sometimes the ending will leave you hyped. You can't wait till Raw. You can't wait till the next show if it was before Raw, and some of these ones are before Raw. Or it can make you think, this is bullshit. I'm going to boo the crap out of, everything when I, boo, yell at my TV, tweet my frustration, this kind of stuff. Some of these actually took place in the Twitter age. But the bottom line is WrestleMania is still the show of shows and this great event and everything, and this landmark event. And it's a wonderful time, even if it's gotten to the point where, the last, 2-3 years, especially on the network, well, especially since WrestleMania 30, but especially 32 and 33, have taken about 4 years to get over, and that's just the Undertaker's entrance. I kid. I love the dead man. For the love of God, please don't wrestle at this year's WrestleMania. Please retire. Please. But anyway, worst WrestleMania endings? Some of these I've ranted about before, so I will probably just skip, just kind of gloss over some. But again, my choices. You can like them or not. But, I'm not telling you guys that, if you guys like these endings, that you're wrong. So there we go. Number 10, Ultimate Warrior wins at WrestleMania 6. Yes, the crowd popped. It was a hell of a match. It was lightning in a bottle. It was not a great technical match. But for these two titans clashing, these two big baby faces, it was great. Problem is Warrior winning. Because Warrior winning, Hogan took some time off. Hogan apparently wasn't very happy. Of course, Hogan had to hog the spotlight, hand the title to Warrior. Oh, look, this is the guy. I'm the Warrior, the champion. Oh. Somebody just slapped him in the fucking head. Maybe, not that it would have affected his brain, because he didn't have a fucking brain anyway. And I don't like Warrior, by the way. You guys can take that however you want. I did not like Warrior for pretty much most of my adult life. As a kid, sure. As a kid, I was stupid. But Ultimate Warrior winning, I get why it happened. Vince thought he had another guy. But the thing is, it turned out to be pretty damn stupid. Because think about it. Right at the next Mania, they right back at Hogan. Right back to Hogan being the guy. Being the champion. And that was it. Warrior's time as WWE champion lasted 9 months. The idea was, I guess, apparently, we're going to have Warrior job to Hogan at Mania 7, but nope, Hogan wanted to face Sergeant Slaughter, which, honest to God, even though the storyline was tasteless, at least Slaughter was a better heel. Warrior, my problem is Warrior just couldn't work. He just couldn't work and didn't want to work. He didn't want to learn the business. And whatever. People can have their opinions about Warrior all they want. I ain't saying that you guys are bad people. You guys aren't. We'll have different opinions. But Warrior winning, just looking back on it, may have not been the best call. I get why it was made at the time, but considering the fallout, Warrior winning was one of the worst endings. It was iconic at the time, but looking back, ugh. And yeah, again, controversial. Number 9, Reigns beats Taker at Mania 33. We all knew it was going to happen. Roman Reigns was going to beat Undertaker. I'll tell you this much, they almost would have been better off not having Brock break the streak, not even having Bray break, go full in and make, Roman Reigns the most hated guy by having him break the streak. But it was it was a bad match. Taker was not in the shape that he needed to be in the main event. I'm not knocking Taker, but it's true. Years and all that mileage wore down on his body. But also, Roman Reigns is capable of carrying a match when needed. But putting him in that spotlight just was not a good idea. It didn't work for Reigns. He was getting booed. He was going to get booed whether he beat Taker or lost to Taker. It's Taker's choice ultimately how he wants to go out. But this was just ridiculous. And it was not a good ending. Not a good match. It was great when Taker left his gear in the ring. That was great. But some of the ending shots of Reigns posing, duh. I'm the big dog. I make him sound like Warrior, don't I? Anyway, I don't hate Reigns. I'm not a fan of Reigns' character, but for people to say, "Oh, Reigns needs this," or it's like I do want to call out the people that shout BS about Reigns. Oh, your brother died. Why couldn't it have been you? Fuck you guys. Just want to say that much. May not care for Reigns, but come on. Anyway, number 8, Lawrence Taylor wins at WrestleMania 11. It shouldn't have been the main event. Shawn versus Diesel should have been the main event. Lawrence Taylor, it should have been the co-main event. Now, Bam Bam did great carrying Lawrence Taylor there. He did great. He did. And it's fantastic. And Lawrence is at least was at the time a legit athlete and respected the business. And you could tell he did. He may have come in with an entourage, but he did respect the business. And it did get some good pub. But the thing is, it shouldn't have been the main event. Lawrence Taylor, a non-wrestler beating one of the best big men of all time. And yes, Bam Bam Bigelow is one of the best big men of all time. Don't you dare try to debate me. Are you kidding? You guys don't have to care for Bam Bam as much as I do. I think Bam Bam is one of the most underrated big men in the history of wrestling. And hopefully he is going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame as the one wrestler that passed on. You know, that's the one slot that they have. They have one wrestler that passed on that they induct a year. Hopefully it's Bam Bam Bigelow. Long overdue. Long overdue. Bam Bam should be in the Hall of Fame. But Lawrence Taylor winning, not exactly the best thing. I just didn't care for it. And number 7, Hogan taking Savage's spotlight at the end of Mania 4. Randy Savage winning the WWE title was fucking tremendous. Of course, Hogan had to interfere, hitting DiBiase with a chair, and that kind of stuff, because that just had to happen. And I get it was long-term storytelling, and they were going to have Hogan and Savage, have this big build and everything. But it was embarrassing, because Savage should have had that. Hogan should have maybe chased Andre out of the ring and chased DiBiase away after that. And Savage and Elizabeth should have celebrated, because it was their moment, not Hogan's. But Hogan had to be the egotistical prick that he is. So, that's just my opinion on that. Number 6, Hogan wins at Mania 5. Oh, look, we're 1 year later. Savage should have won here, even if it was by DQ. And I'm sorry if I'm getting a little hot about this, but don't get me wrong. I get why Hogan main evented, 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias. He's a huge draw. Should have main evented the 9th one. And I'll get to that in a minute. But he was a huge draw. But Hogan beating Savage here is ridiculous. Have it be by DQ. Hogan didn't need, after having the title for, 4 years and 4 years and 2 weeks or something like that. 4 years and a half month. Should have not gotten the title and had another year-long run with it. They should have had Savage lose it at SummerSlam to Hogan. And then Hogan could have dropped it to Warrior Mania 6, whether I agreed with that or not. Savage should have had a longer run. Because he didn't even get to defend his title on pay-per-view. He teamed with Hogan at SummerSlam 88. He was part of a Survivor Series match. He was in the Royal Rumble, I think, and Hogan eliminated him. He didn't get to defend it on pay-per-view. Now, granted, they only had 4 pay-per-views. Or, no. Yeah, they only had 4 pay-per-views at the time. I had to think about when, that stuff happened, but this is just what's ridiculous. Hogan winning there. I mean, I get the storytelling, this kind of stuff, but Hogan didn't need the title for another year. He just didn't. It's bottom line. Number 5, twice in a lifetime, Mania 29. Fucking lied to us, WWE. I mean, granted, I think everybody kind of felt that WWE was lying, but this is pretty ridiculous. Blatant lying. Because Mania 28 had fucking tremendous buy rates. I think outdrew Mania 23, or outdrew Mania 23 by a very small margin, but still was the highest bought WrestleMania of all time. And that's great, at least on pay-per-view. Twice in a lifetime, Mania 29 didn't do so well. Granted, Mania 29 was kind of shit. Taker and Punk was fine. But just Rock beating Cena at Mania 28 was great. The fact that they shoehorned the WWE title in there and just shoehorned another match here. Rock got injured. I mean, Rock getting injured didn't really take away from this match. No one wanted to see this match. Apathy was just not very... The apathy was actually huge. Hype was not very high. It just... He didn't need to be... Rock did not need to be the champion. Cena did not need to be the champion at the end of the show. It was just fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And now we go to number 4. Triple H and Reigns at Mania 32. Fucking Christ, this match was so boring. I mean, yeah, Stephanie took a spear. Look, Reigns, again, is capable of delivering a very good match. He is. His feud with Braun Strowman was the best feud 2017, at least in WWE or NXT, bar none. I will not hear anybody argue with me. Even NXT, even for all their stuff, you have your Ember Moon, your Asuka, and that kind of stuff. I would love to have Asuka, but that's another story. I wouldn't have a chance anyway, even if I was famous. But, Reigns and Braun, best feud 2017. He's had other good feuds. He has. They push him a little too much like Superman. And that's pretty ridiculous. But at the same time, he's capable of delivering a really good match. This was not a good match. And this was just because if they hadn't had Reigns win the title until Mania 32, maybe it would have been better. Just saying. It would have been his one chance to win it. If he didn't beat Triple H here, that was it. The problem is people were going to boo him anyway. They had to turn the house mics down. But it was not good. It was not a good match at all. It went on way too long. It should have been about 18 minutes. And this match, I think, was 27. Now, maybe that's including entrances. I don't know. This match probably shouldn't have been more than 15. It just shouldn't have been. It was rotten. It was really rotten. And number 3, Hogan and Warrior pose at Mania 8. I mean, look, Sid and Hogan shouldn't have main evented anyway. And it's kind of funny that Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, whatever you want to call him, and nothing against Sid. I actually, despite the Arn Anderson incident, actually quite like Sid. I think Sid was an intimidating son of a bitch. But Sid and Hogan should not have main evented WrestleMania 8. I mean, Savage and Flair should have. That was a better story. Even though Hogan and Flair, or Hogan and Justice had their whole thing going back to the Rumble, there was still a better story around Savage and Flair. But anyway, so you had this, and then you had Papa Shango misses Q, and that's either his fault or somebody telling him too late where to go. Or maybe not factoring in that, oh yeah, the entrance way was about 5 miles long. It was actually only, I think, a quarter mile, but still. You had Ultimate Warrior run down, knock everybody out of the ring, and pose with Hogan. And it was just a stupid fucking ending. Because one, Warrior was off the juice. I mean, not that he was a better wrestler when he was off the juice, but anyway. Him and Hogan posing down in that's what he sounds like. It just wasn't good. Just wasn't good at all. Now I'm getting real hot here about this rant, but yeah, that was just not a very good ending. I mean, the crowd somewhat popped, but by Mania 9, which we're going to get to in a minute, was, the crowd was done with Hogan. The crowd was even kind of done with Hogan here. But anyway, number 2, Rock and Cena overshadowing Miz at Mania 27. Okay, so Rock's the host of WrestleMania. Cena and Miz in the main event. Match happens where Miz takes a header off, off the barricade onto concrete, knocks himself out. Poor Miz. I mean, I'm glad he was able to continue his career after that, because that was really nasty. That was a nasty bump. Double count out. Okay, Rock comes down. No, we're not going to have that. No disqualification. He attacks Cena. Miz covers him. 1, 2, 3. And then Rock attacks Miz and stands tall. So, did the whole thing where it made Miz's title reign irrelevant, even though it continued. It made Miz third string to Rock and Cena, which just showed right there, I mean, like, whether you were a fan of The Miz or not at the time, if you're not going to present your champion as credible and just as third string to that, that's ridiculous. It's rotten, quite frankly. And it was one of the reasons that Mania 27 is one of the worst Manias of all time, in my opinion. And if you want to know which one I ranked as the worst, well, you got to check out my countdown. I have the numbers in the description of each video. Anyway, number 1, Hogan as champ at Mania 9. I'm going to refer to my Hogan rant that I did about Hogan's ego trip in 1993, but basically, Hogan not wanting to be tag team champions with his best friend, Bruce Beefcake, and shoehorning his way into this, into a match, beating Yokozuna and then pinning him right after Bret Hart lost, and you could have had Yoko close as champion. Nope, Hogan had to stick his fucking egotistical nose in this and win. Now, I want to say, if you guys are fans of Hogan, I mean, well, sorry, you're not going to like this countdown very much, but guys, I'm allowed to have this opinion. Hogan winning at Mania 9 was ridiculous. I mean, there's no defending it. My opinion, there's no defending it. So anyway, that's just all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, and guys, by the way, I'm sorry if my voice is a little off. Sorry. Still getting over being a little But anyway, that's what I got to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.